Hello and welcome to Other People's Problems. Before we get started, if you enjoy, please like, comment, and subscribe. We'll really appreciate it. And now your hosts, Lee and Lynn. We're over at Reddit, a couple of their users, asking for advice. And one is, my dad's looking to buy an owl, but I don't think it's a good idea. Lynn's gonna handle that one. And I walked in on my son having sex in a dress with a lesbian.
Okay.
So please stick around for that, but Lynn's gonna get us started.
Okay, so the deal about the owl. So this user wrote, to set the scene, our cat Dottie passed away at the latter half of March. We were all heartbroken, but we buried her and slowly we've started to move on without her. Today, I get the news from my dad that at the end of the month, he's planning on getting a burrowing owl. I haven't said anything to him yet, but I really don't think this is a good idea at all. Having an owl would be great, don't get me wrong. They're beautiful birds, but I feel like he's doing this out of impulse as a way to deal with grief. Never mind the fact that owning an owl is a far cry from something like a house cat, and something I'm hoping he's at least done research on. How can I convey to him about unease towards this?
That is the whitest problem I've ever heard.
That's what do they say? First world problems?
Definitely.
First of all, I didn't know you could buy an owl. Damn it, I love owls.
What is a burrowing owl also?
That's a very good question. I do not know.
Listeners, please let us know what a burrowing owl is if you have that information with you. So what do you think? What's the best way to handle that?
Well, first of all, I want to know how old this girl is.
Good question.
She sounds very mature.
She sounds very mature.
She's old enough. Yeah,
she expressed herself well. Seems like she should be able to say exactly that to her father.
Exactly. Yeah.
I have one of the pieces of advice by another Reddit user who says, I used to do wildlife rehab and we have an injured owl we nurse back to health. It was such an amazing creature, but I can say that these birds absolutely hate captivity. Ooh. They are also master escape artists. Keeping one as a pet would mean clipping its wings to prevent escape, and that's pure effing evil. Ours was released back into the wild, and I was so glad for it to be free.
Wow.
Yeah, that's even more reason not to get a pet owl.
Exactly. Yeah, that's not fair to the owl.
I wonder if the father is really that upset over the loss of Dottie, or if he just wants an owl because he thinks it'll be cool.
He probably thinks it's cool to have an owl. I think that's all it is. But yeah, she should definitely just go to him and say, hey Dad, you know what? Think about what it takes to take care of an owl. It's not the same as a cat. Can you just think about it? I mean, certainly it's nothing to be, she shouldn't be afraid, I don't believe, of him.
Owls are kind of freaky looking.
Yeah, they are freaky.
Owls used to visit my backyard, and they came frequent enough, and I thought they were cool. I would always want to go get a look at them, and I guess their comfort level rose to the point where one flew down beside me. I think it saw something on the ground that it wanted, and it didn't mind that I was standing there. It flew right down beside me, and it kind of freaked me out.
Really?
Yeah.
What about those stories that if you see an owl, and this is just, superstition.
It's an old wives' tale that it's bad luck.
That is bad luck, or, something's going to happen, or you're going to be abducted by aliens.
That's another rabbit hole.
Yes, it is. But,
the alien.
I thought
but if you're interested, listeners, if you're interested, there is a whole thing about, there's a connection between owls and aliens.
That's right, there is. So, interesting.
Very interesting.
All right. So what else?
I walked in on my son having sex in a dress with a lesbian. It says, I'm a 46-year-old male. Recently, I went on a trip for my wife's, who's 45, female, her cousin's wedding out of state. We were expecting to be back late on Monday, but something came up at work, so we decided I would head back early on Saturday. and my wife could stay for another day since we had already paid for the hotel. When I got back, I checked to see if my son, who's a 17-year-old male, was home, and I headed up to his room. And when I opened the door, I really should have knocked. Yes, he should have. I saw him with his friend, a 17-year-old female, straddled on top of him with his penis out. As if this wasn't bad enough, he was also wearing a dress and one of those bras with the padding.
And padding too?
Is that a push-up bra?
A push-up bra.
Okay.
How fancy.
What was he pushing up?
I know, right?
I consider myself a pretty progressive guy, but that's weird, right? That's some deviant behavior. And I'm also confused because the girl he was about to have sex with, he is not dating and is a lesbian. And he says, for context, they've been best friends since middle school. This is something I know because she wears little pride pins on her bag, and I see them whenever she comes over to our house. And my son talked to me about how she was getting bullied after being outed a few years back. I'm extremely confused, and it's been about a week. We haven't talked at all. My son has been avoiding me. My wife is starting to suspect something is up, and I don't want to embarrass him further by telling her what happened. But I'm also at a complete loss at what to do. I just want things to go back to normal. Any advice?
Wow, that's a lot going on there. My first thought, he just wanted to have sex. That's his friend that he's known forever. She, she's a lesbian. She's turned on by other women, so she said, well, just put a dress on. I'll do it. Right?
That's quite possible. I kind of agree. I think, at 17-year-old, hormones are raging.
Yeah.
He would have worn a burlap sack if she asked him to.
I'm sure.
I don't think it necessarily says anything about his sexuality. No. He was just trying to get him some.
I think so too.
However, the real question is her. Is she really a lesbian? I think she probably is experimenting, goes both ways, likes women, likes men. She may consider herself, what's the term, pansexual?
Yeah, I think so.
Or maybe she likes trans guys. I don't know. A lot's going on with that situation. Yeah. But I don't think it necessarily says anything about his sexuality.
There's some advice that another Reddit user provided.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, nobody will be able to answer this besides your son. There's too many possibilities. You both probably don't want to have this conversation, so instead I'd aim it on a safe sex type talk, and then also just make a comment about how you love/support him regardless. And you're here if he wants to talk about anything, and leave it there. I know I don't want to think about my kid's sex life. I just want to make sure they're happy and doing it safely. So I would just leave it at that and let him come to you when he feels like he has something to tell you.
I think that's really good advice. I believe that if you open the door, more than likely the son will walk through and address it. Just talk about something related but not directly. Like, exactly why were you in a dress?
Oh, yeah.
He'll probably say, look, Dad, I know it's weird. She had all these rules. I just really wanted to be with her. I'm not gay, or, not that there's anything wrong with that. But, that's good advice. Someone else says she could like both men and women. We discussed that. That's quite possible. Or maybe she's experimenting. That's very possible. It says, but gay doesn't necessarily mean exclusively being attracted to the same gender. That's how I understand gay, but okay. Those pride pins are very broad. And as for him wearing a dress, I'm a man. I'm not trans, but I have worn a skirt for female partners in the past, simply because they found it cute. So that very well could just be something like that, fulfilling a fantasy she had. Or maybe he genuinely enjoys cross-dressing. We really can't know from that alone. Again, listeners, is this something that women find attractive typically?
Personally, I don't. I don't want my partner, who's a man,
it's good to know,
to wear a dress while we're intimate. I'd like to keep it as a man. But who knows? There's other people, other preferences, likes, and that's okay. That's on them. So.
Hey, let's hear it. I want to know.
All right.
And also let us know if you like what we're doing here and want more of it, because we will happily bring you more.
Definitely.
So let us know by liking,
subscribing, sharing,
comment. Thank you for taking the words out of my mouth.
Oh well. You're welcome.
And thank you all for listening. And we'll see you next time.